Welcome to the Lynn Community Television Show, a program where we focus on organizations working to make their impact right here in the city of Lynn. And here with me today from Lynnes Kids, we have the Debbie. You are the treasurer of Lynnes Kids, yes, but you're also a big part of the organization side of things. And Donnalee, you're a big part of the organization, its infrastructure, all that. We're going to get in some detail about the organization itself. But first and foremost, I'd like to give our guests an opportunity to explain who they are and how they're involved with the organization. So Donnalee, let's start with you. Who are you? How are you involved with Lynnes Kids?
Thanks, Sean. I'm Donnalee Leonardo, and I am a co-founder of Lynnes Kids. And we empower children to be children. So we have annual fundraisers, and we have continuous applicants that look for support, financial and physical. So we work with the community and kids in care and under guardianships, some court involved, some not. So when they fall short and there's something they're missing, we fill those gaps.
It's a really neat niche that this organization has, is that you're dedicated to kids, and we're talking about letting kids just be kids. We're going to talk about that a little bit more in detail. But Debbie, I want to talk to you a little bit about your involvement with Lynnes Kids.
Sure. Debbie DeLeo, I'm the treasurer. I'm the one that hands out the checks, the money.
Right. Important lady.
Help out the kids. And also help with all the fundraising and stuff that we also do.
All right.
Yeah.
So both you guys are ground level infantry people, right? This organization, a nonprofit, and it's dedicated to kids here in the city who are looking for opportunities, whether it be a field trip or maybe they need a couple extra bucks to get a corsage for that prom. So I want to kind of allude to you on this, Donnalee. I want to talk about the mission of the organization, its purpose. Why does it exist?
It started out with Lynn O'Connor, who's a very dear friend of ours, who passed away suddenly, and she was a big advocate for children. She represented them out of the juvenile court, and she often out of her own pocket would do what we do for kids, buy Christmas presents for kids that wouldn't ordinarily get them, bring them somewhere or treat them somewhere for their birthday, also give them support in their education around things they may or may not have for school, HVAC equipment for something at Lynn Tech, or buying their family a present, or taking care of someone in their family that could use a spare coat or new basketball shoes. So we took what she did on her own and made it our mission. So that's where our cause is, that's where our focus is, and it's been really moving and very rewarding.
All right. So now you guys have been in existence for how long?
About 5 years.
5 years.
2011.
So in 5 years, you guys have built up a pretty interesting story. Let's talk a little bit about the history about Lynnes Kids itself.
When we first started, it was a very small group of us, only about 4 or 5. And we started with a golf outing in that August, and that's what we do every year. Every first Saturday of August, we have a golf outing at Cedar Glen. And that started some of the rumbling about what else could we do. And we raised some money from that and then started a turkey trot, which we do every Thanksgiving morning out of Wyoma Square. So it slowly but surely kind of metamorphs into multiple fundraisers. And now we're very well known in the community as a go-to kind of group if kids need something and fall short.
Yeah, I mean, sorry to cut you off there. You know, you're talking about volunteering and how to get involved. And I remember, maybe 2 years ago, I was looking for an opportunity to get involved, and there were a lot of organizations in the city. And I'm not saying that any are better or worse than the others, but there are a lot of organizations that you'll get involved in something different that maybe you didn't think that it was. And Lynnes Kids is pretty basic. It's about helping kids, and here's a way to do it. You're talking about some of the events that you guys have done. Some would say Thanksgiving in Lynn is a kind of a riskier, a ballsy move because you got the football games happening, but each year it's consistently grown. So there's been a lot of success on the administration side of Lynnes Kids. And Debbie, I kind of want to allude to you. We're going to come back to some of the collaborations that you guys are involved with, but overall, like the work that you guys have done. Tell me about the turkey trot. Tell me about the golf outing. Why'd you pick these sort of events and the venues even?
Well, Lynn actually loved golfing, so that was why we're like, okay, let's get a bunch of friends, we'll golf.
All right,
have a few beers, do a little golfing. The turkey trot actually runs in front of her house.
Huh.
Yeah.
No kidding. So they all come outside?
She always did that loop.
That was her run?
That was her run.
Oh, that's nice.
Every morning. So we decided we'd do it around there.
Okay.
And that's how we started with those two things.
All right. So
Yeah.
now, in events organization, there is a lot of work that goes into getting people involved, getting
yeah.
people to like donate. Thanks. It just really speaks volumes to me. I'm a football guy, so on
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, like I'm over at either at the St. Mary's game or I'm at the Classical English
Sure.
game, and I would never be caught in a 5K throughout the year, just because I don't run very often. But I mean, here's an event, right?
Yeah.
And it's put on a day that really competes with another very popular event, and it's grown consistently.
Yeah.
And it's people like you, Debbie, that have done it. So how are you doing this? How are you getting people involved?
Well, we have a lot of help through the people that we help all year.
Right.
So,
They're advocates for you.
Yes, yes. Like kids from Lynn Tech come down, hold signs. It's just everybody helps.
So it's a team
Teachers,
effort.
everything, yeah.
All right.
They come out and they help.
I think also with the social media, we've really improved our website and the links to that. So the more that people know about it, and we can honestly say we have people that say this is how they start their Thanksgiving every year. They love it. They get
Right.
out, they exercise, they feel a little less guilty. And people do go from the event to football and with their family and other people.
Right.
But we started early enough that they can
Oh, smart.
get to those things and be able to travel if they need to and still do something that's rewarding, they love. And we have great shirts as well. And people say they wear them throughout the year, and we do see them. So
Yeah,
that's
one of our
also
interns
another-
is wearing them today from
Yes,
Tech.
as a matter of fact, he is.
Yeah, check it out. I don't think you can miss this one.
No, can't miss this
Can't
one.
miss this one.
Yeah.
So empowering kids to be kids, that's your slogan, that's your logo, that's your ideal. So this
Yeah.
has to, we were talking a little bit before the program about the collaborations that are involved. This is a big part of how you guys are so successful. Let's talk about these collaborations.
Yes, we do. We have a lot of support, which they donate to our cause, obviously, annually and repeatedly. So that's kind of our nucleus. But we do also get donations from some corporations, some people matching for financial charity support. So that's always positive. But we also have recently hired a grant writer. So we've also achieved some grants along the way that we fit the mold for what they
Right.
want to support, and that's been important, and we're looking to enhance that as well, because we could do a lot more. We do a lot already, but growth-wise, we could see this, being something that's even more impressive and supports the Lynn community.
So you're not done yet, without a doubt.
no
You guys
way.
are going to be doing
No
this for a
way.
long time.
Yes, absolutely.
So Lynnes Kids, if you're just joining us, a nonprofit organization dedicated to empowering kids to be kids again. We're here and we're talking about the services that are available and some of the success stories that these guys have had in organizing events. And I think it's really neat what you're doing. It's solely dedicated to kids and empowering them to be kids. So if they need to go on a field trip and they don't have the money for the Museum of Science, there's a way that they can get involved with Lynnes Kids. If you're interested in learning more information, you can reach out to the information at the bottom of the screen. These guys have a website. They're on some social media, Facebook, stuff like that. And there's a number you can call too if you're interested to find ways to get involved or how they can help. So I want to talk a little bit of, just kind of briefly and openly, we've covered the organization through and through, so I want to kind of get into some of the personal aspects, the feel-good style type stuff. Kids today, this new generation of millennials kind of get grouped up into demographic of undeserving, spoiled kids. But the fact of the matter is that there are a lot of kids who are grouped into this generation of millennials who really don't have the things that they need to, get by and be a regular kid, participate in their day-to-day at school, be a football player, be a lacrosse player, be a hockey player. Getting that equipment is tough, especially on parents today. The cost of living is crazy. So now that we've kind of created some awareness to the fact, I'd like just to talk to you guys about, why this focus? Lynn must have been a really impactful person in your life. Maybe we should start talking about Lynn a little bit.
Sure. Well, she was an attorney, an advocate. I'm also an attorney and an advocate, so we met in the business, if you will. And she didn't have children, ironically, herself. But children were always part of her life, her nieces and nephews, but the extended. She considered the work she did and the kids she supported in her work like her family. And we've taken that, and we've been approached by groups of kids and from school officials and guidance counselors, and really it's been very rewarding. They've told us how we've made a difference.
Right.
And she made a difference, and that's what we want to carry forward. And the people that work with us work, all the time. No one just does it once and is done. Everybody finds some support and some, benefit from doing well and good by kids. That you're right, and not a lot of people realize
Right.
how much some of these kids don't have.
Right.
And we try to provide that for them. And we don't always do everything at the top notch, and we might find a refurbished
Right.
iPad. So we don't automatically just give everything. We do work with what we can do to stretch the amount of we can give to as many as possible.
Well, that must mean a lot to the people who you do collaborate with, the grant sponsors that have issued you the grants too, and that'll speak volumes in the longevity of the program too. Because a lot of startup organizations can get wrapped up in the idea of let's make it fancy, and you can really kind of lose resources that way. So I'd kind of like to talk some of the success stories that you've had. We don't want to talk about names or anybody personally, but maybe you can give me some examples. There was a kid who was trying to go off of the basketball team and the soles of his shoes ripped off or something like that. Do you have any success stories we can talk about?
We do. We supported a kid that was going into the Marines, and he wanted to join a gym to kind of beef up and get prepared for it. And we paid for that training. And he wrote an incredibly moving letter back to the gym and to Lynnes Kids, thanking us. He was the first drill sergeant. He felt so fit and
Nice.
enthusiastic, and it really hit home. It really was a meaningful thing. I'll let Deb elaborate on some of the other ones.
Go ahead.
All right, so which ones?
Which ones? There's a
good.
whole
Yeah,
pile
many
of
of
them.
them.
There's
Yeah.
so many of them.
Well, we supported a child that had a tremendous problem with neural sensory, and she had to speak in pictures but with her eyes. And we got involved with a therapist that was helping her kind of manage those skills. And the other interesting part of what we do is once someone gets involved and they realize a nonprofit is supporting that, they also donate their time. So this person we supported for so many hours to get her some therapeutic assistance so she could communicate, which was monumental in her life, and that therapist donated more of her time to the cause. So sometimes it's just starting with a little seed and
Right.
things blossom. And we've
Right.
seen that repeatedly and things that we've done. Because we've gone to places and we say, okay, Lynnes Kids is supporting this or buying this, and someone will say, okay, we'll take 20% off, or we didn't know it was part of a nonprofit. We've also supported therapeutic horseback riding for a special needs kid that the family couldn't afford. The grandmother, was interested in having some of that as a physical therapy for her, and that makes all the difference in the world.
So as a kid, right? Just from my own perspective, when I was growing up, I had a lot of support from my family, and I realized quickly on, I was like, wow, I'm really lucky. It's not just one or two people who care about me. It's like 5 or 4. And, Christmas was always great, and I was very, very blessed in regard to that. And I knew early on I would never be able to, pay these guys back for all the fudgicles and sandwiches that I had eaten. But I did know that I could give them a reason to be proud. And it was kind of like the agreement. All right, hey, you accept this food, clothing, and shelter, and you just be a good kid. So you're talking about this this gentleman who had ended up going into the service, and thank you for your service, young man, who gets an opportunity to go to a gym and beef up. It's like, some people don't have those resources, and then all of a sudden it's given to them, and it's like, well, I better do this now.
Yep.
So they kind of answer that call. It's really just a special thing. So I want to talk a little bit more about just you guys and why you got involved with this. Maybe is there a special story that you'd like to share or something like that, Debbie?
Not really, just to help the kids keep Lynn's memory going, and it works.
Right.
We're helping a lot of kids.
Was Lynn a friend of yours?
Oh yeah, very good.
So tell me about your history with Lynn.
We'd ski all the time, run all the time.
So
Hang out.
Working out style. You guys
Yeah.
were active style
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Not me so much. I like to hang out on the weekends.
Yeah,
but
she was that type.
All right.
Yeah, she was that type. And she just, like I'd say, where are you going? I'm going to go to TJ Maxx. I got to pick up a couple of backpacks. What? Really? Yeah. All right. Well, here's some more money. Go get
Right.
some. Yeah.
And so this was for the kids.
Yeah.
And that was just something that she had
Yeah.
done. So
She
leadership
would do.
through
And
example.
there was a lot of other lawyers that do that.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt. I mean, there are a lot of people in communities like Lynn that need assistance, 100% through and through.
Right.
But a lot of things can get lost in the muck, especially when you've got a community like Lynn or Chelsea or Lowell. We have this huge surplus of nonprofits, and some of them are dedicated to the same thing. But I mean, kids, that seems like that should be first on everybody's mind.
It really should, because they're obviously our future. If they fail, our whole system's going to fail. But what we think we do for the kids, and not just providing them with something, but we get the applicants from guidance counselors, social workers, families. So we encourage people to go on our website. The application's there to fill it out. And what happens is the kid also realizes there are other people in their life that support them as well. They know that it's not just us. It came from the school, or it came from a social worker or a guidance counselor or something. So they realize that these people care about them, care about them enough that they want to help them and give them something.
Yeah.
We do a lot of work with Lynn Tech because of the type of work that Lynn Tech does. And even, like you said, motivating them to take the next step. We've paid for a kid to take the VNA test. You know, she was smart enough, she had a future, she just couldn't afford to, get the means to take the test. She took the test, she passed, and it motivated her because she didn't want to let us down, let her teacher down. And those are the things that, could make a huge difference in a kid's future.
How do kids get involved? How do people, I mean, not so much on the volunteer basis, but how do they apply for these?
There is an application, and it's not necessarily the child, because we don't give the child the money or
Right,
do anything
that's-
direct. It goes directly as much as they like that. Yeah. So it's usually someone, an adult, a guardian, some kind of support in their
So they
life.
need an advocate
They need
for
an
them.
advocate, yes. And that's how we kind of communicate, because like I said, it's not always just an automatic knee jerk. We do have a board that reviews these. Sometimes we reduce what we give. Sometimes we find out that it's in even a greater need. And we find out that there's other things we can do to support, like the field trip. So it wasn't maybe just the field trip, but it was the lunch.
Right.
We worked with a group of moot court kids, and they went into Boston. So we supported them to go out and have lunch afterwards.
Yeah.
So just those small things, but it's them making an effort, to be involved in those kinds of things that could motivate them to do great things in their life,
Right,
in the future.
You got to eat on your field trip, right? I
Yeah.
what kind of field trip is that if you don't get a meal too? This is weak.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's awesome. I don't think that you ever got me sold. I'm an advocate. I
Yeah,
might
there you
end
go.
up running on Thanksgiving. I can't believe I just said that. But we'll talk about it in a year. I want to talk, 5 years you guys have done a lot. The Turkey Trot, it's a household name now. The golf outing, it's growing. Just talk about some of the continuous improvements. What can we expect to see out of Lynnes Kids in the next 2 to 5 years?
Well, what we'd really like to do is also start some scholarships as well. So we'll pinpoint exactly what those would be for. So that's some work in progress, and that would take some grant writing for us to generate some of those bigger funds. With the fundraisers, there are some limits to that. There's only so much you can make off a trot, and there's only so much you can really make off a golf outing. So we would have to expand some of our fundraisers. But because we like the nucleus of the people that work so well with us, we don't want to continue to go to the same well. So it's generating, through the grant writing, other ways of getting donations, getting support, and then that will help us, grow.
Right. I just want to thank you guys for coming on to the program. Lynnes Kids, we're here with their treasurer, Debbie DeLeo, and Donnalee Leonardo, the secretary of Lynnes Kids. I know their names by heart. I'm not reading from this table. Guys, I want to say thanks to you as a
thank
TV
you.
show host coming on the program. Thanks to you as a community, guys, putting out the effort. Lynnes Kids, if you're interested in volunteering or if you're interested in learning on how to take advantage of some of the services, reach out to the information at the bottom of the screen. That's it for the show. From the studio here at Lynn Community Television, I'm Sean Donahue, wishing you all the best. So our mics have been killed.